Hey everybody, it's Frankie-Lou. I'm coming to you again from the kitchen of the Grow Together homestead where I'm doing some of my indoor growing. I have a whole other video on growing microgreens, and I know I've done other videos on also growing sprouts, but I thought you might want a refresher here because I don't know about you guys, but when I've been going to the grocery store lately, the food costs just seem to have really amplified lately. I wanted to do this video to give you guys sort of some suggestions on how you can save a little bit of money on your food costs as well, with some stuff that's readily available for sprouting and growing as microgreens in the grocery store. You don't have to go and get fancy little packets that you're gonna spend a fortune on to grow sprouts and microgreens. Your grocery store has tons of seeds available that you maybe just aren't thinking of as seeds, and you can grow delicious, nutritious sprouts for pennies, okay? From stuff that you get in the dried legumes and spices aisles, okay? I find the import sections of a lot of grocery stores really, really helpful for this. For instance, one of my favorite things to grow as both a sprout and a microgreen is green lentils, okay? They're really, really nutritious. They're good for you. They're also a good thing to have around the house in case there are food shortages. Lentils are good to a good source of protein, even if you just use them like this. But they're also one of the fastest sprouts and one of the most versatile sprouts you can grow, okay? I think I paid $4 for this bag. With a quarter cup out of this bag, I've already used it to do 3 different growings. I get almost 3 cups worth of delicious, really, really nutritious sprouts, okay? So compared to spending $7 for a little bag like this, I can make this much sprouts for 50 cents, okay? So think about that. It is something that's quite economical and it's delicious. I really, really like these. Another thing that I really like to buy, look at the size of this bag, okay, from the import section of my grocery store. These are whole mung beans, okay, excellent for sprouting. I used a quarter cup of that, and in a few days I had this, okay? So that is something that's also, if you want to keep in mind that these things that you might not be thinking of as seeds. I like to use green peas, dried green peas, okay? It's a seed. Another one that is one of my favorites, because those of you who follow me know I'm a huge fan of very, very spicy food. Mustard seeds, okay, in the import section. I paid, I think, $3 for this bag. This is gonna be enough to create, I put 2 tablespoons in here a few days ago, and look at all that. Delicious, spicy, tasting fresh greens, okay? One of the reasons you wanna grow these greens at home is it's cheaper, it's fresher. The stuff that you see in the grocery store has been already sitting there a few days. A lot of people are afraid of sprouts, and it's healthy to have a good, healthy caution with them, because if you don't treat them properly, you can get very sick. If you cannot commit to rinsing these as they're growing twice a day with fresh, clean water and keeping them, the air circulating in there, growing sprouts is not for you. You will get sick, okay? You can't just leave them and think it's gonna be fine. Lots of bacteria can grow there and you can become very, very ill, which is one of the reasons that I actually don't tend to buy sprouts even when they are available at the grocery store, because I know there are lots of possibilities to get ill from sprouts. You do need to keep it nice and clean and the airflow going, okay? If you're not willing to make that dedication, maybe check out the microgreen growing video, because that's a little less onerous. You still have some safety precautions you have to take there, but it's not as critical that you keep it rinsing twice a day, okay? So let me just show you how easy this is. I'm very frugal, but even though I am very frugal, it is worth the investment to get one of these jar lids, okay? You can get them at a lot of your local garden centers. You know, you can order a lot of them online. I do like the ones that are fully plastic, because you are rinsing this twice a day, and the metal ones I find can rust, okay? I think I paid $7 for these ones, and they're worth it because you can pop them in the dishwasher and keep them clean as well. If you don't want to do that, a sieve is fine too. Just when you're rinsing rinse it out in a sieve and get it back into the jar. It's a little bit more work. I have done it with cheesecloth as well, but honestly, this is worth a little bit of investment. It costs less than a pack of normal microgreen seeds, and you can use them for years and years and years. Another type of thing that you want to look at is the type of jar you want to use. I really, really like the wide mouth jars because that's what these lids fit on. And I want the ones that have a nice straight side, okay, without a huge neck, because you'll see when you go to take these out, it's a lot easier to have one that doesn't have a really pronounced neck on it, right? Because now I can easily remove these, okay? What you want to do is most seeds that you're growing do need to be soaked first. So I will use a retae. Like, let's do another batch of mung beans here. So I've got a 1/4 cup here of that, because that I find a 1/4 cup of these larger seeds is perfect for one of these sizes of mason jars. And then I'm going to cover it with a filtered water. And I'm going to let that soak from 4 to 8 hours. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll set a bunch up to soak overnight, okay? And then I'll do it first thing in the morning, or I'll do it in the morning and start them going in the afternoon, right? So let's pretend that we've done that now. We've let this soak. This is the part that's super important, the rinsing. You have to do this twice a day. So what I usually do is I will use this water that I've been rinsing, okay, on my plants. Just one way of, I basically will walk around and water my plants with the filtered water that's come off of here, okay? It's really, really important that when you are draining it, that you turn it over and let it drain for a while, because a lot of water will get trapped in there. And I find that once those sprouts start sprouting, I actually store them on the counter on their side, because that's going to allow for more airflow to go through than rather having a whole bunch of sprouts stuck down at the bottom. As you can see, it can get really crowded really fast. These I'm harvesting today, okay? I'm going to start eating these tonight. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give them a really, really good rinse. Okay, I'm going to put them in my sieve so that they get a full rinse, okay? And once they've drained a bit in this colander, I like to place them in a nice storage container in the fridge. Well, I try to use them right away, but anything that I don't use, okay, I'm going to place, making a bit of a mess, but that's my normal way here. Place them so the paper towel is picking up the excess. I'm going to keep that in my fridge with a nice lid on that. I'm going to use these within 3 days, okay? Because like I said, I do not want to get sick. And they're better when they're fresh. Also, the sprouts do lose their nutrition and a lot of their flavor over time. So as always, best to use the stuff that you grow here in your house fresh as soon as you possibly can, okay? Now, I get asked a lot, well, what the heck do you use them in? Sandwiches, that's a number one. I do, and salads, okay, that's an easy breezy one. I do like to put the bigger sprouts like the mung bean and the lentil sprouts. I like to use them in soups, okay? I put them in last minute. I use them in stir fries. I just eat them. And if I find that I'm not eating them in time, for those of you who do have livestock, growing these things and sprouting these things for your critters is a good thing as well. My chickens and ducks go crazy for these things as well, okay? All right. So I'm just gonna finish processing these and putting them away, but I do hope you'll think of starting to grow some of these things yourself instead, because it is healthier as long as you do keep those safety precautions in mind, which, as a reminder, rinsing twice a day with really clean cold water is really important. Draining well. Do not let those seeds sit in water anytime apart from that initial soak that you do to get the seeds started up. And also I do find that once they start to actually sprout, which with lentils is like the second day, you can eat lentil sprouts within 3 to 4 days. It's amazing. I like to store the jars on their side so they get more airflow. Okay? Also, don't store them for very long. Clean them well once they're prepared and store them in the fridge, draining on a paper towel in a container, and use them within a few days, okay? Because you don't want to be sick. You're growing these things so that you can have something healthy and delicious. You don't want to make yourself ill, okay? So I hope that's helpful. Please don't hesitate to ask me any questions about sprouting. I love chatting about sprouting. So if you have any questions or comments or suggestions, do let me know in the comments. And as always, I hope you take this chance to grow together today. Have a good one.